It's a Mental Health Chat Monday, Season 3. Thank you all so much for tuning in to another episode of Mental Health Chat Monday. Where here on Mental Health Chat Monday, our motto is turning mental illness into mental wellness. I am your host, DDare Bionic. Thank you so very much for tuning in with me today, but I am not the reason we're here. Of course, as always, we bring in a very special guest, and this person is coming from halfway across the United States to be here with me today. I am so honored, so blessed. A talented singer, a maker, just a beautiful soul. Asha Mae is here with us today. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello.
Not Asha Mae. It's Asha Mae.
Asha, oh my God, no! Nope, I gotta redo the whole thing. Nope,
No, it's okay. It's all right. No, it's
fine. No, it's not
fine. We just go through. It's okay. We just go through.
You know what? I'm leaving all of it. As a matter of fact, we're not gonna go back. I'm gonna leave all of this in with my whole foot in my mouth, thinking I had practice in my head. I was ready.
Oh my God. I get it all the time. I've been getting it for years. Okay. I've been getting it for a long time, so it's okay.
Okay, so Asha Mae, introduce yourself to the people. Tell us your name. Tell us what you do for a living. How you going about this life? Not what you do for a living. I'm just kidding. But tell us.
It's okay. I don't mind what I do for a living. The thing is, what don't I do? I am Asha Mae. I am a wife and a mother, homeschooler. I have a full-time job as an intellectual property paralegal. I am a singer, songwriter, have 3 EPs out, have been working on the last one for the last, I don't know how long. Sort of took a detour and started a handmade jewelry business that has just gone off here in Phoenix. I'm currently in Phoenix, Arizona. So as I said, when you say, what do I do? There are a lot of things that I do.
We call that a multi-hyphenate, okay?
Yes. Yes.
Multi-hyphenate in the house today. So I like to start these episodes pretty much the same way with the exact same question. Mental health check. How are you on this 3rd day of March in the year of our Lord and Savior, Sarah Michelle Gellar, 2025 at 6:15 Central Standard Time?
Right?
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm here, and I feel like that's a hard question for me, honestly, if I had to, because I feel like no matter how I'm feeling, I would say I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And it's habitual, right?
Yeah.
And it's something that we've sort of been programmed to do. Now, I am good right now. I'm a little stressed out. I got a lot going on, but I'm feeling okay. But, I had to take a minute there after I said it, because I'm like, do I feel good? Do I not feel good? Okay, I do feel good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, when I really think about it, that's just something that has been sort of, like I said, programmed into us, at least from my personal life experience, because I can't speak to anybody else's. But for my personal life experience, it's sort of nobody really wants to hear if you're having a bad day anyway. It doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to say, I'm good.
It's all right. I'm doing good. Yeah, I relate so deeply to that, because I am I'm good as good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm okay. I'm fine. It just for me, it comes from a place of not wanting to burden other people with what I'm going through.
But I bet you'll listen to other people though.
That's why I do this.
I bet you, I bet you, because I'm the same way. Mm-hmm. I bet you'll listen to other people all day long, and you won't feel as though they burdened you at all.
Nope.
I bet
So
you're
what?
happy to do it. I bet
Mm-hmm.
you feel called to do it. But
Yep.
when it comes to you, no, I'm good. I don't want to burn anybody.
Yep.
I don't want to burn anybody.
That is exactly what that you hit the nail on the head. That is exactly how it is. Like I will. That's the whole reason I do this podcast, because I love listening to people. I
Mhm.
love hearing people talk about their stories. I love hearing people tell, give me different perspective on every side of mental health. Whether you are somebody who suffers with it actively every single day, or you just have a occasional glance at it. I love
Mhm.
listening to people, but yep, you don't need to hear about me. I'm good. I'm okay. But I am glad to hear that you are doing for real good today. I know you're stressed. Thank you so much for squeezing me into your schedule. I am so in awe of you. And even though I can't say your name right, I really am truly enamored with what you do, the things you make, your voice, not just your singing voice, but your speaking voice. And just everything that you do is so powerful. I would love to talk to you a little bit about where you draw that strength from.
That's a good question because I don't even see it as strength.
Mm.
Um, and again, that goes back to, I think, our upbringing and probably my Christian background, almost to the point of, be the humility, right? Be humble, slow down, be humble, like, so it's
Mhm,
like, I don't even think when I think of myself, I don't even think about any of that as strength, you know, um, but it is. I'm getting better. I'm trying to get better at that, But I'm at a point in my life where I'm comfortable and unapologetic about being me. So I guess you can call that strength because for so long I conformed and tried to be at what everybody else wanted me to be. So now it's just sort of, listen, this is it. And you either like it or you don't like it. You can roll. I still love you no matter what. But this is me, and I mean that in my music. I mean that in, in my my creativity in other ways with the jewelry and the art. I mean that just in my own day-to-day interactions. So yeah, it's a moment I think where we all come to at some point where it's just like, listen, I'm tired and this is what you're going to get. And if we want to call it strength, we can call it strength. But I really call it just like, honestly, it was born from being tired. It was like, that's what it came from. It's like I was strong from being tired, but it was
mhm.
more so from being tired.
I
Because
am
you
sick
get to
and
a
tired of being sick and
yeah,
tired.
sick and tired of being sick and tired because you get to a point where you realize you can't please everybody.
Mhm.
You realize that everybody around you is okay with you working so hard to be who they need you to be, but nobody is really worried about you. You know what I mean? Like your version of you, not like the real version of you, not the fantasy version that they drummed up in their head. And then, like I said, you're trying to be. And so, yeah, I just got tired. Like, listen, I see you're not even thinking about me. So I'm gonna do this.
Mhm.
I'm gonna do that.
I get on out of here. Get out of the way.
And I'm
I
not even mad. And the thing is that I'm not even mad. And I'm not mad. It's just it just is what it is.
yeah,
And I realize it's so funny. You didn't ask me this question.
please.
But I feel like life is just a constant unpacking, right?
Hmm.
So I'm at this point in my life where I'm realizing that I have an issue with, and I don't even know if this is an issue. So I don't want to come down on myself, but with mirroring,
Mm. Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So like as a serious issue with that. And again, I think that it happened as a young child where one, I realized that empathic people tend to do this because they want to make other people feel more comfortable.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. Yep.
But at what point do we make everybody feel comfortable and ignore our own discomfort? Because I had to have a whole moment where I was like, wait a minute, who am I? What do I like? Like, it was like that. What was that? That Julia Roberts movie was like, which eggs do I like? I don't even know what kind of eggs I like. Yeah.
I know exactly which movie you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just like, I have got, just a real quick story. I was vending this past weekend, and a woman, like a Hispanic woman, I don't know, she was Mexican or something, came up and she was talking. And I've been studying Spanish. I have a Costa Rican friend, and she and I have been talking back and forth. And this woman was just like, you have no accent. You sound so good. She said, you sound like me. She said, you have no accent. And I was laughing about it with my son, because he's like, this is what you always do. And then I thought about it. I had another event where I met a Nigerian woman, and I was repeating what she was saying. And she was just like, are you from Nigeria? I did that with her. Hold on. But then we rewind and go back 20 years. When I used to go to college, I took 2 years of Japanese, and my sensei kept saying over and over again how I was the only one in the class that sounded like a real Japanese person.
Because
and if we want to go back to my very first job, so in the legal field, 25 years ago, my very first job, I worked at a law firm as a receptionist. And I kid you not, the only reason why they hired me was because they loved how shocked people were when they came in and saw that I was actually a Black woman and not a white woman. And they got a big kick out of it.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
That's crazy.
That's
bonkers, actually.
Yeah. So that's again, going back to that unpacking, that's something that I had to do with myself. It's like, am I because and then going back, went to the mall one day, and I was with my family, my very Black family. And we went to the mall, and one of the sales associates came to me, and she was white. And apparently I did it, but they never seen me do it before. So my family was like, who are you? Like, what was that? What was that you just did, you know? But it's just something that I do, you know what I mean? And I think that speaks to the whole mental health thing, because I realized that I did that earlier on in life. Like I said, to make other people feel comfortable, but then to also be able to fit into those spaces. Mm-hmm. If that makes any sense to you.
It makes total sense, because it's like an advanced form of code switching, but not in the way of protecting yourself from, because a lot of the times I feel like code switching is protecting yourself from racism and like people thinking XYZ thing about you as a person of color. But mirroring is a way to make other people feel comfortable, like you said before. And I find myself doing that sometimes, not as much as I used to, but like it just, I relate so much to what you're saying right now. It is insane how, and I feel like, especially for empathic people, we have to, how do I say this in the right way? We have to protect ourselves so much while also protecting other people, because of that very, very open energy exchange that we have with people that just happens without us trying, that like we just do it. And it's
I don't even want to say second nature. It's first nature. It doesn't, there's nothing intentional about it. It's not trying to pull the wool over anybody's eyes or be something like it just happens.
And
but in a way, and that's why I said I don't want to get down on us too badly, though, because in a way it's a gift, right? Because what it does allow people to do is to drop those defenses that they have up, those walls that they have built, because when they talk to us, it feels like they're talking to themselves, or they're talking to that friend, or that, like, I've had so many people who are just like, oh, I feel like I've known you for a lot, or you're my, and I think it's because of that, so that's why I say I don't want to give it a bad label, because I don't think it's that.
Yeah, it's like a curse and a blessing in a way.
It is
a curse and a blessing. It's one of those things that, like, if I did never do it, I wouldn't be mad about it, but it is something that kind of has gotten me to some spaces that I am fortunate to be in.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I mean, there is not a space that I feel as though, maybe one or two, but I have been in pretty much every type of scenario you can ever imagine. And the thing about it is I feel comfortable there.
Yeah.
I don't feel uncomfortable. I feel fine.
I'm chilling. I'm good. I don't know what you freaking out for. What you freaking out for?
I really do. I feel fine. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny. It's funny with our minds, like you said, our hearts, our soul, everything done like just to make us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit about mental health in the way of how that impacts your life. Have you ever been diagnosed with anything?
No, not I mean, I have taken I've taken anti-anxiety medication before, for my coping. I'll never take it again. I have a reason for that, though. I'll go to that in a second. But I have struggled with depression in the past. But again, I handle it so much more different than other people do. I don't have the breakdowns. Like, I don't allow myself to stay in it too long. The reason why is because I have so many people who depend on me. And that in itself can be, I don't want to say burdensome, but that's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
That's a lot. It's a lot of weight. It's a lot of weight. And I'm almost afraid, because when I was younger, my son's right there. He's like in the other room. I have done something to myself in the past, when I was younger. So I am oftentimes afraid of how far, because I think that because of my empathic nature, and I usually don't even like to say this type of stuff, because once again, it feels very like vain for me to even say that. But because of that, I do feel very deeply. But I almost, again, don't allow myself to completely feel, because I'm afraid of what I will do, if that makes any sense.
No, that makes absolute sense. We feel much more deeply than other people. And that's not just romantic feelings or good feelings. It's the bad stuff too. We experience it all so much more deeply than a lot of other people. And it can get really scary and really tricky when you start to fall down that spiral and things get dark.
It does. Like, I don't even really drink alcohol. I don't do any type of drugs. I don't do anything, because I like to be in complete control of myself.
Me too.
It's not because we don't know what might happen. So
I don't like that.
I want to go there. But again, like you said, because we feel so deeply, I was talking to my older son. He's 26. And so we have different types of conversations, and I was telling him about how, I have, everybody depending on me, or how I take motherhood so seriously. I take all of those things so seriously, because I don't feel as though I was nurtured in the way that I should have been by my parents. So I always wanted to make sure that I provided that for my children. And it's funny because he's just like, nobody's thinking about the stuff you're thinking about. And I'm like, but they should, like, I'm thinking about it. How will this impact this person? You know, so it's sort of, but in a way I recognize it as not being a good thing though, because I am ignoring my own problem. But then that is why that is what gave birth to the music, because that became the outlet. Everything that I've sang about, every song you've heard me, like that was all from my heart. Like, you know, like that. So that became my outlet and my way. My aunt said, it's so funny. My aunt said, the people don't even realize you sitting here talking trash about us. She said, they're just singing along with this song. They don't even know you sitting here talking trash about us. But I'm like,
it's so real. Asha, we are the same when it comes to that. I have probably said on every episode that I have recorded for this season that the most vulnerable I am is on this podcast and in my music.
Mm-hmm.
If you listen to the words of my music, you will know a lot about me.
About you. Mm-hmm.
Everything. I put every emotion that I have into my music because it's so hard for me. I don't necessarily shy away from somebody would say that I do shy away from feeling them, which sometimes I do. But it is so hard for me to articulate them in a human way.
Right.
In a way of just having a conversation like this. Mm-hmm. Whereas in my music, I can make the song sound the way I want it to feel. Mm-hmm. Or I can really mess your brain up and make the song upbeat and dancey, and the lyrics
like that.
And you listen to them lyrics and you be like, what? What? So I relate so deeply to that. To you know, I was diagnosed in my early 20s with depression. And it was definitely something that I needed. I needed to hear it, to put a name to it, and that helped me kind of get myself together and be like, okay, I have this. Mm-hmm. Now I know how to fight against it. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of allowed me to feel those emotions a little bit more deeply, not too deep,
right,
but a little bit more. And I think that's important for us as Black people, specifically as a Black woman. It is important for you to feel your emotions as intensely as you need to, because y'all are not allowed at all.
And that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I was saying about, like, nobody cares. Like that was the feeling I got. I'm saying, like, you know, in my past, is like, you can cry all day, you can sit there and this happened to me and that happened and it's going to be like, okay. And that's if you get that. You might even get you're lying, because I've been there before. So then at that point it becomes, what's the point of even speaking if you don't hear me, and honestly you really don't care about what I'm saying? Why am I even speaking? So you know, so that's where, like I said, that whole ignoring of the feelings. But I'm glad that I do have a few people in my life who I can really break down and do the ugly cry with. And, you know, because like I said, my older son, he said for a long time, at one point he was saying something. So he was saying something to me, but we were on the phone. Mm-hmm. And because I didn't ever want him to feel like he couldn't speak to me, you know, couldn't tell me what he was feeling. Mm-hmm. So he was talking to me on the phone and I was listening, and he was saying some very hurtful things. And it wasn't that he was trying to hurt me at all. Mm-hmm. He was just expressing himself and what his feelings were and the way he saw things, you know, as a child. Mm-hmm. And on my end, I was silent because I want to hear him and I don't want to make him feel like he can't say anything. Mm-hmm. But on my end, I start crying, but I was quiet crying, like you couldn't hear me.
Just the tears.
just to, like, not saying anything,
Mm-hmm.
trying to hold back. Because for me personally, the way I saw it, I was 18 years old when I had him. Um, I was I was with his father, but it was a very physically abusive relationship, like on all levels. Like, you don't even want to, like, I'm talking about like face unrecognizable. I'm
Oh,
talking about, like, like, I've been through it.
mm-hmm.
And at that time, I took like I said, because of how my childhood was, I took my job as a mom so seriously. So I gave it 150%. And so I think that's why I was crying, it was because, like, I tried so hard. It's all like I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter. So, like, so that's what I was feeling. But so eventually he said something to me and I had to speak. And when I spoke, I couldn't, you could tell I was crying.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like, Mom, I'm sorry. He's like, I didn't mean, he said, I'm so used to you being so tough that I forget that you have feelings.
Mm.
He
Oh,
said, because you never cry. He said, you never get up. He said, you always, he said, but he said, you're a sensitive person. People don't realize it, but you're really sensitive. And he said, I'm sorry. And then he went on, he's like, he was trying to console me, but that's what I didn't want. I didn't want it to make it about me, but the whole point of all of that is that, a lot of times that's just what we do as women. And then as matriarchs, I find myself at this big old age of 45, being a matriarch.
mm-hmm.
I didn't ask to be a major, but like, I find that,
Right.
and that is like I said, a huge responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. And it's not even like back in the day when, grandmom could be the matriarch, but then we got grandpop's, granddaddy's paycheck.
Right.
Grandmom is doing, we're doing it all.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I'm all right. But I'll tell you this much. You didn't get to this question yet. I don't even know if it's on the list, but I'm all right because of art.
Mm-hmm. That was my next question. So please,
That's why.
I
That's
would love to hear how you got into music. How did you find your voice in music?
Okay. So I've been singing I was a little sorry. If you would ask me when I was little what I was gonna be a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be a singer and a dancer. A singer and an actress. And I was the type of kid who was walking around on a Tuesday night with my Sunday dress on and my baton and singing Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston, twirling my baton, doing a little dance and making everybody watch me.
Yes. Yes.
So I was always, I tried out for all of the talent shows, and I was in I sang in the choir. I was doing all of those things. So I've been in, like I said, I've sang, I've been in oratorical contests, I've been, like, done all of those things. But then when I was with my oldest son's father, when I was younger, I remember one day I was singing. Now keep in mind, I'm around 17, 18 years old at that point. And I was singing, and he said, "Why are you doing that? That's dumb." And that was not dumb. But what was dumb was I listened and I stopped. And I didn't sing again for probably the next 8 or 10 years.
Whoa.
To the point that my family would come by. This is after we split up everything. I've moved on. I've married somebody else, not my current husband, but my other husband, my first husband. I've moved on, and my family would say, "You used to sing all the time. You don't ever sing anymore." And honestly, I could tell you that my ex-husband, who I was with for 8 whole years, unless he's seen some of my music now, probably doesn't even know I can sing.
Wow. Whoa. Sorry, I had to have a sip of water. So in this, because I mean, as a singer, I so much of your life is attached to your voice, not because of other people, but because it's the gift that God gave you to utilize and spread throughout the world. In that period of not singing, how was your mental health? How were you connected to yourself as an artist?
I wasn't connected to myself at all.
Mm.
Because again, and this goes beyond the whole mirroring thing. I was just trying to please everybody else. And I was at a point where I was just like, it doesn't matter. Nothing matter. Again, it doesn't matter what my feelings are. It doesn't matter if I'm not using my gift. None of that matters. I'm pretty much just here to exist for other people. And it wasn't until I was 30. So you figure that was from like around 18, 19. So when I was around 30, when I was 30, I actually, I moved to Florida with my older son. I had separated from my ex-husband and I moved to Florida and I joined a church. And those people knew me there and they knew me. I actually moved there because I knew the people. Mm-hmm. So they knew me from when I was a kid. So they knew I could sing. So they had me to be on the choir. Mm-hmm. And that was when I first started singing again at 30. And yeah.
No, go ahead.
I would say that was when I started singing more. And then when I moved to Philadelphia, well, I'm from Philly, but we moved back about 3 years later. And a few years after that, I joined church there that my youngest son, happened to just be going to daycare there. So it's so funny how things happen. It's a church daycare. He was going there. One day I was having some issues in my life. So I said, okay, I'm going to church. I was going to church. I was in the choir. They sing a lot. They sing a lot of hymnals. Mm-hmm. So I was singing and I happened to be standing behind one of the people that works at the daycare. And she was like, oh, you can sing. She can sing.
Oh, you can sing. Oh, you can sing.
So you're going to have to be on our choir. And
are you asking me or are you telling me what's going on?
She said, you're going to have to be on our choir. But the thing is that because I had been going through something so trying at that time, I said to God, wherever at this point, because I will say that during that whole period of time, that stretch, that 20, that 18 to 30, whatever stretch, I was very much running the show. Doing everything that I thought was what needed to be done. Mm-hmm. At that point, I said, as far as with God, I said, whatever you, I'm just going to go with anything you tell me to do, anything that's put in front of me, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And that's because I was like, because I'm clearly screwing everything up. I clearly don't have the answers. It's not working out the way I thought it was going to work out. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to do whatever it is that you say. So I went ahead and I joined the choir. It was a mess.
I was wondering where it was going. I'm like, okay, you joined the choir. I'm over there like, you joined the choir.
I was like, what these people got me into? They were good. It was a whole mess. And it was so funny because I was supposed to join the church that day. And even after that, first off, they had me singing a solo the first day. The first Sunday, they had me singing a solo. So I'm going to tell you a quick story. And I love it. And real quick, I love my church in Philly. I love my church family. But I'm just going to keep it a little real right now. Our pianist, classically trained, and a little older, maybe around his 90s or so, playing for our Black choir. and also stubborn. And so when I was singing, the song he was playing that Sunday morning was not the song that we had been rehearsing. It had a completely different melody, a completely different tempo.
So he's freestyling.
He was freestyle. He was like, "This is what we're doing," and it was nothing like the song that we, and I wasn't used to that from my earlier days of singing on it, but I wasn't used to, so I was just
Everything is right.
but I was like, what is going on? So it's so funny, after I was done, the woman behind me, she's like rubbing my shoulder. She said, "You still going to join, right? You still going, you still," and I was like, "Oh no." I said, "I don't know.
I don't know about that."
I don't know.
I'm gooped at the fact that this man decided that he was going to sit behind the piano at the big age of 90 plus.
Peter was like, "I'm doing," that was his name, Peter. Peter was like, "I'm doing what I'm doing." And that is that. So that song that you had going on, that little R&B gospel hit you had going on, that's not what's going to happen. We're going to do something classical. We're going to do something.
Peter, it's time for you to put the keys down. It's time for you to put the keys down, Peter. I'm so sorry.
That was definitely an issue within our choir for a while. It was like, Peter. So I did join.
Okay.
I did join. I wasn't going to, but I did join. And it just so happens that right afterwards, and this is where that following God, really. And I don't care what people call it. Call him God, the universe, whatever. I don't give a, whatever. About maybe a month or so later, this guy comes to help out with our choir. Turns out that he was he's a musician. Well, not Peter wasn't. Peter was a musician. He just wasn't our kind of musician.
Right.
But this man, he was a Grammy nominated producer. He worked with Vanessa Williams.
Oh wow.
Worked with like a lot of people during like the 80s and 90s and everything. So I was singing with the choir. He was working with us. He said, "Oh, I want to work with you one day." And I was just kind of kept brushing it because I'm like, okay, I don't know about all that. Like I'm doing, but I'm like, okay, all right, yeah. So 2 years go by where I'm singing with them and we're doing all that. Then we went down to, it was during the pandemic. We were vacationing. We were in RVing. That's a whole nother story. You know the story. I don't want, that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But we were doing that and the pandemic hit. And again, I was going through a tough time. So I started writing music. That's when I started writing songs. I said, I got to get this out. Because what it was, I was like about to have a heart attack. Seriously, I felt like my chest was, I said, I got to get this out. So I just started writing it. And I happened to send it to him. And he said, "Let's record that."
All you need is that one person.
He said, "Let's record that." And that first EP that I did with Lori Make a Way, a minute with like all those songs, that he produced that entire EP. And but my thing is that had I not followed that path and just gone and done all those little things, I would have never even met this man.
Nope.
And then I would have never even gotten to where I am. You know what I mean? And because it's so much bigger, it's not, I mean, I don't want to say just music because music is huge, it's life-changing. But I mean, it's not just that, like it changed the entire trajectory of my life.
Damn. Yes. You have to pay attention and follow what is in front of you. You have to.
Absolutely.
So had you never written music, but you had never written music before that?
I've written songs. Yes, another story. Look, I'm a writer. Let's just say that I'm a writer.
Mhm.
I've written before. Started writing books, writing like I'm all things art. Like my mind, I'm gonna give myself my flowers when it comes to this. Like my
Yes.
mind is crazy.
Mhm.
Like my mind, I can come up and you can tell me something right now and I can like come up with some kind of lyrics or something just like that. My imagination is insane.
Mhm.
Like I just have a crazy imagination. So it's like nothing. It was like second nature for me to just start writing.
Yeah, got it. Love it. Amazing. I also relate to that because my mind is also always running and I'm always writing lyrics. There are never not songs being written. There's never not something that is happening. So, okay, so you didn't sing for like a decade. You start singing again during the pandemic. What did it feel like to finally start on a path that would lead you to your superstardom? Like what did it feel like to be on in like recording music and working with these, amazing people?
Mhm. So it was one, it felt like home, but two, it felt scary as hell. Because the first song I wrote, Lord Make a Way, the lyrics are Lord make a way, get me out of here, get me out of my mind, take away the fear. I need you to make a way. I can't see so clear.
Mhm,
Can't stop the voices I've got in my ear. Well, all those voices are mine.
mhm,
So I had everything in my mind telling me again, and now we're going to go. We talked about mirroring. Now we're going to go to imposter syndrome, and those things that I dealt, like I said, with that. That's stupid. Don't do that. That whole like this is dumb. I'm singing. Me singing is stupid. It's okay if somebody else does it.
mhm,
That's okay. Me doing this, not a good idea. But I want to do it. I feel led to do it. So I'm going to force myself, even though I don't want to. But then again, I also kind of want to.
mhm.
I'm going to force myself to do this, even though I don't. I'm afraid. I was afraid. I swear to you, every time I have sang in church, and I'm not kidding. I've had the church members do the whole, falling out thing.
Mhm.
And I'll still go home afterwards and say to my husband, "Can I really sing, or did you think they just did that?"
You can really sing.
But that's what I really was like, and I really like, is that really was that? Am I? Maybe I'm not seeing things right. Maybe was that? Maybe that wasn't in my head. Maybe that didn't really happen. But those are the things that I'm was constantly saying to myself. Like, no, you're not good enough. You can't do this. Whether it's, oh, you're too old, or you're too this, or your time has passed, or you don't sound like these other people do, because my voice, that's another thing too, and finding my true voice, not trying to sound like everybody else, but
Mhm.
to just sound like me, like that was another thing. So yeah, it was just like I said, that part, it was very scary, but at the same, like I said, it felt good. It felt good. And I know it was right because everything lined up. Everything I did,
Mhm.
the feedback I got, like when I've said, like, I know, like you said things to me, or Ronnie said things to me, like people have said things. And when I've said to people, like, you just don't know how much that means to me. It's really because you just don't know how much that means to me.
Yes, yes. I have said that very statement to some people very recently. Like, you don't understand how much it means for you to just because up here I'm like, you're shit. You ain't gonna never be nothing. You're never gonna make it. You're never gonna like it. Like all the things that you just ran through. It feels like that, even though you're doing the hard work, even though you are persevering and creating and constantly putting out, not just putting out content, putting out authentic content. And I don't mean like Instagram, TikTok. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about authentic art that is so true to you. it feels almost even worse, like daggers, when you don't necessarily get that validation or whatever. And so for somebody to say, you got this, or that was so good, or I really love, I'm humbled. I'm humbled. I hear that. That was a message right there. That was a message. So so we've talked a little bit about music, and I absolutely love your music. I love your voice. Whenever Ronnie is playing music about the house, and when he's like, this, we listen to the music. We listen to music sometimes in the morning or in the middle of the day. We just kind of sit at the table and talk and listen to music, and I hear your voice come on, and I go, ooh, like love your music. But I also am obsessed with these jewelry pieces you are making. I see you're wearing them right now. They are gorgeous.
Thank you.
Tell me about what led you to this creative endeavor, because it kind of popped up. Like, I saw it on social media and I was like,
what like, this is what we're doing now.
I'm like, I don't even know. I don't know Asha that well. We're not in the same city. We're not like besties. Like, but to me, it made sense for the style of jewelry that you were making and how very proudly Black your jewelry is. That made sense to me. But I was like, jewelry. Whoa, I love that. I love it because it's such a tangible thing. You know, as singers, as musicians, we make intangible things.
Right.
And so for you to create a tangible thing, I was like, damn, that's smart. And beautiful.
No, it's one of those back on that thing. And I'm laughing because it's just like I said, my family, everybody's like, okay, so we're doing this now. All right, we're doing this now. All right, okay. But it was not, it was back again on that following, right? The journey. So real quick, I didn't used to wear jewelry like that. Like I would wear like little tiny silver balls. Again, going backward, this is we're gonna have to do like a series because we got a lot. But I used to always want to just fade into the background. So I didn't wear bright colors. I didn't wear my hair in any kind of way that would garner like any type of attention or anything like that. It was straight, always kept it straight, parted in the middle, straight, wore beige, gray, black, navy blue. In the summertime, I throw on some cream, maybe a muted pink or something like that. Like something very, nothing that would cause me to be seen. As you know, my family, we RV'd, right? You know that, like we RV'd.
Yeah.
We met a woman and her family at an RV park one day. She, my son and her children became friends. And so we just started talking eventually. Turns out she's very, I would like to say prominent jewelry maker out here in these streets. Like she's made jewelry for Tabitha Brown and Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion wore them in her music video and things like that. Well, she told me one day I was visiting her in her RV and she said, oh, she had all these earrings. And I said, oh, those are nice. I said, I couldn't wear them, but I think they're beautiful. I think they look great. And she's like, yes, you can. Watch, try it on. And I tried it on and I was just like, okay, I kind of like this. I was like, I like this.
They look so good on you. They look beautiful. That color with your skin, honey.
Thank you.
So I was like, wear that.
I was like, I could do this. I was like, I like these. So I started buying them. I started wearing them. I was buying them. I probably have like 30 pairs of her earrings, honestly. And then one day, so we came to Arizona, fast forward, she and I parted ways, still stayed friends, but parted ways because in RV life, it's very transient. Came to Arizona for me to have surgery. For me to have my hip replacement. We were supposed to be here and then leave as soon as I was done with my physical therapy. We were here. Our youngest son had already had his cool homeschooler business with his t-shirts that he sold that said the cool homeschooler. We had a ton of products because we weren't so successful online with his online sales. He sold some, but we had a lot. So one day we were here in Phoenix, and I was bored. Well, let me take it back one quick sec. Christmas time came. My husband said, "What do you want for Christmas?" Couldn't think of anything I wanted. So I said, "Just get me some stuff so I can make jewelry for fun because I'm bored. I have no friends here, no family, no nothing. I'm just sitting here recuperating." So I started making a jewelry. Told our son one day, "Let's go." We saw that there are out here in Arizona, in Phoenix specifically, there are a lot of arts markets and things like that. So I said, "Why don't you bring your t-shirts and I'll make a few pairs of earrings and I can put them on the table and we can come out here one Saturday and do that just for fun." That was more so a teachable experience because I remember I'm homeschool mom. So it was like, okay, well, we can teach you how to do this, And I got out there, and again, Darius, like immediately it just turned into a thing. I just followed, like people were just like, "Okay, and what's your Instagram?" And I'm like, "I don't have an Instagram for this." "Well, you have to have Instagram."
I'm just out here peddling earrings. What are you talking about? Instagram. What do you mean?
So I was like, "Okay, well, you don't have Instagram?" "No, I don't have Instagram." "Okay, well, then I get the Instagram. Do you have business cards?" "No, I don't have business cards." Now we're doing this event. We got to have a canopy. Now we're doing this. We got to have some extra tables. Now we need tablecloths. Now we need signs. Time to put up our website. Now we got our website. Now we have our professional photos. And people are inviting us to events now. We don't even have to go looking for all of them. The people are coming to us.
Yes.
And people are getting custom orders. And it's just turned into this thing where it was supposed to be, okay, I'm going to raise money for my next EP. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. I said, okay, well, I'll do this on the side to raise some money to pay for my next EP. And this got so out of control that it is taken up. That's why I'm in my studio. This is my studio. We have a studio. Like that's what it is so, before I got on with you, I was texting someone who's probably waiting for me to text them back because they're working on my website and setting up my schedule for classes because, oh yeah, I'm going to be doing classes now.
Wow. Whoa. But like, how incredible to tumble into something that like is very lucrative that you're incredibly talented at just by being obedient.
That part. By being obedient, yes. Yes.
And like you said,
I didn't even think about it that way. But yes, what you just said.
And like I was raised in the church. I know the lingo. I know how, I'm not as religious as I was when I was growing up.
I'm not either. Believe it or not, I'm not either.
But it's kind of like you said earlier, it doesn't matter if it's God, it's the universe, or it's your intuition knows. Your intuition knows the energy and the feeling that feels right. And once you follow that intuition and that energy and that feeling that feels right, you tumble into the things. It's still obedience in whatever terms you want to call it, but you just happen to be like, this is okay. All right, here we go.
This is what we're doing.
Yeah, this is what we're doing.
And the craziest thing, this is what, real quick, I got too many. I'm telling you, we got to do this series.
We have to do a part 2.
Right, I got to do a part 2. But I was going through a period where I was feeling a little bit depressed. I was having we can get all spiritual and everything. I was having my dark night of the soul. That's a whole nother question, the whole thing for another day.
Yeah, been there, done that, honey.
So I was going through that because I was feeling like, I'll be honest with you, I was feeling like I'm doing this. I'm supposed to be singing and I'm making jewelry. This is stupid. I'm gonna be straight up. That's what I was feeling like. I was like, this is stupid. Like, I need to be like, what I was doing before, it was touching people. And now I'm just making stuff. And right after that, I was at an event. And this woman comes up to me. She's like, she sees the jewelry, she gets it. And then after, there was a big crowd. And then once they walked away, she said, "Can I tell you something?" And I said, yeah. And she said, I recently lost my mother and my best friend, and I've been feeling so bad and having such a tough time. She said, but I saw this and it made me so happy.
Mm.
Thank you so much. And I have
Oh,
like tears coming in my, and like, and we hugged. I hugged her. I said, "Can I hug you?" And she's like, "Yes." And I was just, but it was at that moment that I realized it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what medium it is. I'm still doing this is what I was meant to do. I was meant, like, I want to love people. I want to spread love, and I want to let people know that I understand them, and I want to just help. And whether it's doing that through music, or it's doing that through jewelry, or it's doing that through painting, or it's doing it through poetry or anything, it doesn't matter because it's still getting done. That's what she taught me at that moment, that no, I'm still doing it. So I don't need to feel bad. They're not just stupid earrings. It's not just that. Because for whatever reason, it touched her at that moment and it brightened her day. And so that was enough for me.
oh, oh, that's powerful. Oh my God. But that's so right. We don't even know who we're touching.
We don't even know. We don't have a clue.
We
We
have
don't.
no clue.
Mm-mm.
And it's so beautiful. And I love when those moments happen to people people like us who don't really see it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
as creatives, as artists, we don't really see. We put the work out there and we hope it touches somebody. And we don't always get the response or the whatever. But when those moments come, it makes every late night, I only got this amount of money left in my account, but I'm still gonna go to this show and hopefully sell a t-shirt and perform for these people who are not paying me. You know, it makes it all worth it because it's not about the money. It's not about the fame. It's not about the fortune. It's about the lives that we touch. And that, mm, mm. And to make a little money on top of it is great.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit here and stunt and say like the money is not good.
Right.
If I can collect a check and change somebody's life, I'm happy. Okay, I'm happy. I'm trying to change the life and collect a check. I mean, I'm so glad that we got to have this conversation. I just adore you. And one day, Ronnie and I are going to get down there to Arizona. Actually, we were just talking about our anniversary trip in October, which might be somewhere in the general vicinity of that. I'm sure they'll tell you about it and everything. So I listen when we get down there, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. We have to get together and kiki and talk and laugh.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
still absolutely want us to do a song together. I don't know if I ever told you that. I'm pretty sure I did.
We will.
And I know I literally just put an album out, but I'm already writing the next one. So
look.
So
listen, look, I said I'm down.
Yes, I just feel like our vibes are very not even necessarily similar, but like our energy when it comes to creating is very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that'd be beautiful. I just got a couple more questions and then I'm gonna be out of your hair for the day.
I've been enjoying myself, so
me too. I just love talking to you. I think this is the first time we've actually got to sit and just talk with just the two of us. And now I see why Ronnie be kikiing and laughing and hollering all around the apartment all the time. I already knew just from our interactions on social media why, but your energy is just I don't know yet if this is going to be video or just audio, but Asha is wearing bright orange and that sunshine orange is shining through the screen into my life. I've already been having a really good day and this is just making it even better. So like, thank you so much for just sharing your story with me, for trusting me with your story, for the beautiful art that you put out to the world, tangible and intangible, and for everything that you do, just for being a Black woman. Thank you. Thank you for existing, for being what we need in this world. Thank you. I just need to impart that. I just need to impart that to you.
I needed that. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you. I just have a couple more questions. So
Mhm.
here on Mental Health Chat Monday, we have a motto. It's called turning mental illness into mental wellness. What does mental wellness look like, sound like, smell like, feel like to you? What is your definition of mental wellness?
Mental wellness looks like acceptance,
Mm,
acceptance and love for yourself. Self, we like to throw around that self love, and then eventually it kind of sounds a little cliche, at least to me. But it really does mean that, because then when a lot of times the issues that we have, we're battling within ourselves. It doesn't mean that there aren't any external factors. There are external factors,
mhm.
but then the external factors, they've moved on and they're not even thinking about us. And here we are, right here and in
Stuff.
here,
Mm,
killing ourselves. So it just becomes, hey, it's okay for you to feel how you feel. It's okay for you to think the way you think. It's okay if people don't like you for who you are, whether that be the color of your skin, your sexuality, your gender, anything about you, just your youism. Whatever that is, it's okay. But guess what? I love you.
mm,
And that's the conversation we have to have with ourselves.
mm,
I love you.
mm.
So I'm going to make you feel good because I love you. So the same way we look for other people, oh, you made me laugh. I had a good time with you. I'm going to give you that good time. I love you. You're
Mm,
okay. Flaws and all. I love your flaws. They're awesome. That's what mental wellness. And no matter how you need to get to that, like I said, whether it's through writing, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through screaming, whether it's through just, self-expression and the way that you dress, the way that any of that that's what that is for me.
mm.
Because
Oh,
depression is the opposite of that, right? Pushing
mhm,
that away, whatever you're pushing you away and not accepting you.
mm.
Doesn't mean that everything else isn't bad. Doesn't mean that whatever they did or whatever is okay. But it's just that what they did don't have nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with me. That's their problem.
Mm, mm.
And even though this has nothing to do with that, and I just want to throw this extra part in there, even though I'm so much better than them,
Yes.
they cannot. What they're not going to do is that what they're not going to do is make me. They're not going to have that much. They're not going to have more of an impact on my life than I have on my life.
Period.
They are not that strong.
Mm, mm.
They are not that powerful. They could try to be powerful. I laugh at their lack of power and their unknowingness of their lack of power. I laugh at it. It's funny.
Yes.
It's so cute. It's so cute because they just try to tear us down. And they might for a moment, whoever that is, that's whoever and whatever that is, might for a moment. But we just have to get to the point where we accept ourselves and love ourselves in every season. Like, I'm gonna be straight up. Lizzo made me mad.
Oh, oh,
She didn't really make me mad because I don't really get mad off of people. But Lizzo had me thinking. I was so mad because she signed I don't know if you saw the thing where it was a picture of herself. She did something that said like "bye bitch" or something because it was when
oh, to her last era.
yeah, and I get it, but it's okay. Like she was y'all the same. Y'all just look different, but y'all the same. So we gotta love ourselves in any place we're at.
Every
Even in the
single one.
sunken place, we have to love ourselves because nobody's gonna save us from it. Nobody's going to save us. Even a pill that we take, like I said, I've taken medication, different things, because the moment you stop, it's waiting there for you. It's waiting. It's waiting for you. So it's like, the only thing that's going to pull us out is us. And the God in us, we can even say, well, God, but God is, I'm a different, I'm making the Christians mad sometimes, but like God is in us. God
Me
is
too,
living
girl.
in us. So God is in us. So we don't have to look towards an external factor to fix us.
Mm-hmm. Say that.
How about, as long as we're not hurting anybody, how about we don't even need to be fixed?
How about that? Clock that T. Clock that T. What do I need to be fixed for?
Yeah.
What is fixing? What are we fixing?
What are we fixing? Right? What are we
What are we
fixing?
fixing? Are you Chip and Joanna Gaines? Is this Fix the Rapper? What are we fixing? That hard, yes. Yeah. Oh, that was. Listen, this is the second time today I've been taken to church. I just want you to know that.
Today is your day.
Today is my day. Y'all are gathering me together. Y'all are getting me together, and I absolutely love it. Okay. Last question for today.
Okay.
Leave us with one piece of advice for allies, for anyone who is navigating their mental health journey. What's one piece of advice you can share for them?
Go easy on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself. That's the honest, like again, it sort of echoes what I just said, but it's so important that we love ourselves. Sorry. It's so important that we grant ourselves the same grace that we would give other people. We're deserving of that. And then to also understand that life is a journey and it's meant to be lived. And as much as we don't like the negative, we need to feel all of the things. So just recognize it for what it is and be okay with whatever it is that you're feeling. Work on it if it can use some work. But sometimes the things don't even need work. Sometimes we do need to do the work now.
Yeah.
But sometimes on the little things, on the, like I said, I don't look this way. I don't act this way. I'm not as smart as they are. I'm not as funny as this person is. I'm not as charismatic as this person is. I'm not as successful as this person is. I'm not as wealthy as this one. It doesn't matter. I'm not as fast. If someone's trying to be, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. Don't be so hard on yourself. Like that self-love is a real thing. And it took me 40 years. It took me 40 years to get there. It really did. It took me 40 years to finally say, all y'all, I'm gonna love me. And
no matter what.
No matter what. And I'm worthy. I'm worthy of it. I'm worthy not even of everybody else's love, because again, y'all don't want to love me, y'all don't have to love me. But I'm worthy of mine.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. And you are worthy. You are more than worthy. You deserve your own love. You deserve your self-love. And I'm so happy to know that you are giving yourself that love and giving yourself that grace. Because, listen, you do the Lord's work as a mother. You do the Lord's work as a Black woman existing in the world. And you need to love yourself as much as you can. And I'm so glad to know that you do, because it's so beautiful. You, Asha Mae. I said it right that time, right?
You did it right.
Yes. Thank you for your beauty, both inside and out. Thank you for your grace, for your story. Let everybody know where they can find your art, where they can find your music. Tell me all the stuff.
Man, it's about to be a lot. You can find my music everywhere. Asha Mae, ASHAMAE. I have a website for my music. That's AshaMae.com. I can be found on Instagram, Asha_Mae_sings. With regard to my jewelry, you can find me Asha_Mae_clays. Find me on my website. That would be shopashamae.com. And I'm on Facebook, TikTok, all the things. I've been trying to figure out Pinterest. I'm figuring it's too much with all these different things. I'm working on it, y'all. I'm working. I'm working on it.
Listen to me when I say you will not see me posting on TikTok ever again. Maybe in the future once I care less about it. But once I took my social media cleanse and I could not download the app. I could not physically download the app back onto my phone. I know you can now. But when I went back to re-download it and you couldn't, I said, oh.
This is a sign.
This is a sign. You know that song, that gospel song, God blocked it. That was
He blocked it.
What that was. He said, nope. Stay up out of there. And don't get me started on Pinterest. My best friend has tried to get me on Pinterest. I have downloaded and deleted and re-downloaded Pinterest so many times. She's like, I don't understand why you don't like it. And I'm like, I don't understand what I'm supposed to do too. So listen, as long as you got your Instagram, we'll find you. You got your website, we'll find you. We got you. All this social media, I hate it. Oh, it drives me crazy.
Same.
It drives me crazy. But of course, we have to do it. And you can find me at DDare Bionic on all social media. It's called branding. Look it up. And I will see you all on next Monday with a brand new guest. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you. I mean it. Bye.